Good morning, students. Welcome to the computer class of Java. Today, we will discuss chapter 9, Iterative Constructs in Java. And in this chapter, today we will discuss variations in for loop, that is control variable data type, multiple initialization and updates, control variable independence, optional segments, and infinite for loop. So start with topic control variable data type. The control variable may be of any data type. For example, character, float and double. See the example where variable is of double data type. Public class for loop, curly bracket start, public static void main, round bracket start, round bracket close, curly bracket start, for, round bracket start, double D is equal to 10.0. So D is a variable that is of double data type. So the value is in decimal point, that is 10.0. This is the initial value of D. Now the condition is there, D less than equal to 20. Till the time the value of D is less than equal to 20, the loop will run, semicolon, D plus equal to 2.5. And every time when the loop will run, the value of D will be incremented with 2.5. Curly bracket start, system.out.println D, semicolon. So the first time when the loop will execute, the value of D will be printed, that is 10.0. Again, in 10.0, 2.5 will be added, that will become 12.5. Now the condition is checked, is 12.5 less than equal to 20? Yes, the condition is true. So system.out.println 12.5 will be printed on the screen. Again in 12.5, 2.5 will be added, that will become 15.0. Again 15.0 is less than equal to 20, the condition is true. So system.out.println 15.0 will be printed. Again in 15.0, 2.5 will be added, that will become 17.5. Now again 17.5 less than equal to 20, the condition is true. System.out.println that is 17.5 will be printed on the screen. Again in 17.5, 2.5 will be added, that will become 20.0. So 20.0 less than equal to 20, the condition is true. System.out.println 20.0 will be printed. But again when in 20.0, 2.5 will be added, it will become 22.5. At this point the condition is false because 22.5 not less than equal to 20. So the loop will be terminated and program will finish. So this way the for loop will run, and here we are going to see that the variable is of any data type. Clear, students? The next variation is multiple initialization and updates. The for loop may contain multiple initialization and updates separated by commas. Means we can initialize the multiple variables in for loops and they are separated with the help of commas. See the example. Public class for loop, curly bracket start, public static void main, round bracket start, round bracket close, curly bracket start, for, round bracket start, int I is equal to 1, comma, j is equal to 9. So here we are initializing the two variables that is of integer type and they are separated with the help of comma, semicolon, I less than equal to 9, that is the condition, semicolon, I plus equal to 2, and every time when the loop will run, the value of I, that is 1, will be incremented by 2, comma, j minus equal to 2, and the initial value of j is 9, but every time when the loop will run, the value of j will be decremented by minus 2. See, in this program, two initialization, that is I is equal to 1 and j is equal to 9 are used. Both initialization will be executed at the start of the for loop. However, the for loop contains only one control variable, that is I, for iterations, as that is the only variable used in the test condition. So first time when system.out.println run, the value of I, that is 1, and value of j, that is 9, will be printed. At the second time, the value of I, that is 1, will be incremented by 2, that will become 3, and the value of j, that is 9, will be decremented by 2, that will become 7. But here only the value of I is checked. So 3 less than equal to 9, yes. So when system.out.println will execute, the value of I, that is 3, and value of j, that will 7, will be printed on the screen. Again, at that third time, the value of I will be increased by 2, that will become 5, and value of j, that is 7, will be decreased by 2, that will become 5. So the condition is checked. Condition is true. 5 less than equal to 9. Yes. So I, that is 5, and j, that is also 5, will be printed on the screen. Again, fourth time, 5 will become 7, that is the value of I, and j, that is 5, will be minus 2, that will become 3. So again, 7 less than equal to 9, condition is true. So the value of I, that is 7, and value of j, that is 3, will be printed on the screen. Again, the value of I, that is 7, 7 plus 2 will change into 9, and 3 minus 2 will become 1. So the condition is true, 9 less than equal to 9. System.out.println I, that is 9, and j, that is 1, will be printed. Now again the next time, if the value of I will be incremented by 2, that will become 11. So 11 less than equal to 9, condition is false. At this time the loop will be terminated and program is finished. So in this way we can declare multiple variables, or you can say multiple initialization we can do in a for loop, and there can be only one condition that is used to run the program. Clear, students? The next variation is control variable independence. The test condition need not to be limited to use only control variables. In fact, the test condition controlling the for loop can be any Boolean expression, that is true or false. See in the example, public class for loop, public static void main, curly bracket start, Boolean finish is equal to false, semicolon. So we have taken a variable finish that is of Boolean data type, and at the starting of the loop the variable is false. For int counter is equal to 11. A counter is a variable that is of integer data type and its initial value is 11, semicolon, not finish. This is our condition part, semicolon, counter plus plus. And every time when the loop will run, the value of counter, that is 11, will be incremented by 1. Counter plus plus means counter is equal to counter plus 1. Curly bracket start, system.out.println counter. So firstly the value of counter is 11, that is printed on the screen. Now again the condition is there, if counter modulus 7 double equal to 0. If the value of counter, whatever be the value of counter, if modulus 7 means after dividing the value is equal to 0. So the finish will change into true and system.out.println condition met. But at the first time the value of counter is 11. 11 is printed. So 11 modulus 7 is not equal to 0. So again the value of counter will be incremented by 1. That will become 12. The loop is not finished. Again system.out.println counter. So the 12 will be printed on the screen. Again, if 12 modulus 7 is equal to 0, 12 modulus 7 not equal to 0, again the counter will be incremented by 1, that will become 30. The finish is still false. Again system.out.println counter, that is 13, is printed on the screen. Now if counter modulus 7, 13 modulus 7 is not equal to 0, again we will not enter in this block. The value of counter, that is 13, will be incremented by 1, that will become 14. System.out.println counter, 14 will be printed. If counter modulus 7 is equal to 0, now 14 modulus 7 is equal to 0, yes, because 7 2s are 14. Now we will enter in this block, finish is equal to 2, true. So the whatever the value of finish, that is false at the starting, it is changed into true. So the system.out.println condition met statement will execute and program will be finished. Clear, students? As this is logical NOT operator, that is false at the starting, but at the finishing of the program it will change into true. Now we will do the next variation, that is optional segments. In the for loop, the initialization, the test condition and the update segment are optional. That means you can create the for loop without any or all of these segments. See the code. Public class for loop, public static void main, curly bracket start, int n is equal to 5, semicolon, 4, round bracket start, semicolon. The initialization, or you can say the initial expression, we have written outside the round bracket. Then inside the round bracket we have written the test condition, that is n less than equal to 10, semicolon, round bracket close, curly bracket start, system.out.println, whatever be the value of n, that is initial value, will be printed, semicolon. And the updation part, again it is written, that is n plus plus, curly bracket close. Now see, the initial value of n is 5, that is printed, system.out.println n. Now n plus plus is n is equal to n plus 1. So n will change into 6. Now again in the for loop bracket, the condition is checked, 6 less than equal to 10. Condition is true. System.out.println n, that is 6, will be printed. Now again n plus plus. So 6 will change into 7. It is incremented. Now in the for loop bracket, again the condition is checked, that is 7 less than equal to 10. Condition is true. System.out.println, the value of n, that is 7, will be printed. Again 7 will be incremented with n plus plus, that will become 8. Again condition is true, 8 will be printed. Now again 8 will be incremented with 1, that will 9. So again condition is checked, 9 less than equal to 10. Condition is true, 9 will be printed. Again 9 will be incremented by 1, that will become 10. So 10 less than equal to 10, that is true. So system.out.println 10 will be printed. So here in this variation we can see that the initialization and the update segment are omitted from the for loop, and still the program will work in the same way. Clear, students? Now see, the next variation is infinite for loop. Infinite means that never ends. A loop that never terminates is called an infinite for loop. The following is an example where all the segments have been omitted, and such a statement will create an infinite loop. See, public class for loop, curly bracket start, public static void main, round bracket start, round bracket close, curly bracket start, 4, and in the round bracket of for loop we have just put the 2 semicolon. First semicolon to separate the initialization and second semicolon to separate the test condition, but nothing is written in the for loop. Curly bracket start, system.out.println hello there, and when this program will run, so infinite times the hello there or any message will be printed on the screen, because there is no condition to stop the program. Clear, students? The next variation is empty for loop. A for loop can just contain a null statement that is just a semicolon. Such a loop is called an empty loop, as there is no statement in the body of for loop to be executed. See the code. Public class for loop, public static void main, curly bracket start, for, round bracket start, int I is equal to 1. The initial value of I is 1, semicolon. I less than equal to 50,000, that is 1 less than equal to 50,000, semicolon. I plus plus, round bracket close, semicolon. Here the condition is checked, but there is no statement in the body of the loop to be executed. So program just wait until the loop completes. But as there is no statement to be executed, so such kind of loop is called an empty loop. Clear, students? Next is pitfall of a for loop. See the code. For, round bracket start, int I is equal to 1, semicolon, I less than equal to 10, semicolon, I plus plus, round bracket close, semicolon. System.out.println, in the double quotes we have written hello and semicolon. See, we might expect this loop to write the message hello 10 times. However, if you execute this loop in a complete program, only one hello will be displayed instead of 10. The reason is placing a semicolon is just treated as an empty statement. Java compiler considered this empty statement as body of the loop and executed it. The system.out.println was not considered as a part of the body of the loop. Means whenever after the for loop semicolon is there, that is treated as an empty statement. Hence, when the loop finished, it was executed only once. So only the one time the message will be printed on the screen. Clear, students? That is called a pitfall of a for loop. Means after the for loop, if semicolon is there, that is called as an empty statement. And after that, whatever the statement, that is system.out.println will be there, that is not considered as a part of the loop. Clear, students, everyone? So students, today we have discussed the different variations in for loop. That is control variable data type. We can take variable of any data type. Multiple initialization and updates. We can do multiple initialization at the same time in one bracket. Control variable independence. Optional segments and infinite for loop. So students, revise the topic carefully. Do the practical practice. And in the next video, we will come with next topic. Thank you very much.